Hey guys, welcome back to Relaxation Book Club. I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Isabella.
We're going to be talking about Harrison Bergeron, and we're going to be talking about Hills Like White Elephants. So we have a lot of good stuff going on. So why don't we start with Harrison Bergeron? Written in 1961 by Kurt Vonnegut.
Vonnegut.
We're not really going to get into the author, I think, too much into this one, and it's a very short story, so I don't think it's going to take that long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll have more Kurt Vonnegut affair in the future.
He has wrote some popular books, but basically the story goes as follows. It's a dystopian future where everyone is handicapped to complete and absolute equality. So the main character is Harrison Bergeron. He is this super smart, super strong, almost Marvel character strong, the way they describe he breaks his locks and stuff like that. And most of the other characters, I don't think honestly really matter.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not sure I'd consider Harrison Bergeron the main character. He's a focal point, but we get the entire telling through his parents.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I know that might be a little pedantic. His parents are really where we get the lens of, the totalitarian equality that I think Kurt Vonnegut set out to write. I mean, we chose this one because it's simple and easy. So I don't have a lot to say, like with of Mice and Men and all that. I don't think there's many themes except totalitarian government bad, and I say this a lot with authors of the time, but you got to understand, Americans loved eugenics at that time.
Eugenics is bad. I think we can all agree on that.
And he's not as pro eugenics as, or I guess accidentally as pro eugenics as of Mice and Men or anything. It's just kind of gets that whole like, well, equality is bad, so you really shouldn't limit people from, being the Ubermensch.
I mean, there's really not much else for us to say. It really is just saying like totalitarian government bad, all this other stuff. I mean, it's a very short, simple story, and I don't really have much else to say to be honest.
I mean, yeah, there's a bit of discussion to be done on motives, but otherwise, I think we're good. I mean, the motives are pretty simple. TV as a method of numbing and control. I mean, this was written in what, like
1961.
61, so TV was getting big back then, and this is kind of a statement against that. A lot of that old cranky man, TV is bad for you, and I kind of get that honestly, but this was also a statement on that in many regards. And as a brief footnote, most of the sounds that play through the earpiece foreshadow an event. So, like when they talk about their son Harrison, the sound that interrupts them is a 21 gun salute. A typical thing done during a death.
Oh wow, I didn't actually put that together.
Yeah, it's a lot of small things like that, or like if I remember correctly, like when they're announcing his escape on the TV, there's sirens playing in his head, so it's sort of like it's a small motive that just foreshadows things.
Yeah, I mean they don't really portray Harrison as like a good guy either. I mean he's basically trying to claim himself as emperor. So
yeah, but isn't he like 15?
15, 16, something like that.
You've never met a cringy 15-year-old?
I mean, I get it. I mean, he's about the anime protagonist age, so.
But exactly.
We're
Sadly, he didn't learn what a gun was.
Exactly. Moving on. Hills Like White Elephant. This is one of Bella's favorite stories of all time.
I wouldn't put those words in my mouth. I like it. I like a lot of the writing style. I've talked to this maybe 3 or 4 times while we discussed it this week before this. It kind of harkens back to classical Chinese painting style of painting everything but the subject, which I really appreciated.
I really like Bella's perspective on this because I gotta say, from my first reaction, that when I read it or listened to it, I just was left with more questions than answers. One of my first reactions was, is this woman, because neither character is actually named in this story, and this is all about the whole getting around the point and not hitting the point. I was like, is she terminal? Is she ill? Does she have a like? I actually was wondering if she maybe had schizophrenia at one point. I mean, it sounds dumb now when you really know what happened.
Yeah, but that's kind of, what I like about it is like once you know the subject, you can point out the clues to that's the subject. But before that, you got to do a little bit of calculation. I don't know. There's a lot of. I could probably go over this short story line for line, honestly, and point out, oh well, this means that. Like when she says, "Don't those hills look like white elephants?" American man who's unnamed. No, they don't. It's both pointing out her indecision on the subject matter itself and kind of the subject itself, because the basic concept of a white elephant is a gift that hurts more than it helps. You give someone a white elephant and they go bankrupt trying to pay for it. It's a classical Indian tale. So it's pointing hills like white elephants. It's about pregnancy. It's about abortion. And that's, oh, doesn't that look like that? No, it doesn't. And that's how you know it's about abortion, because it's, well, does she want the baby? Doesn't she?
And for me, that brings a lot of strong emotions when I really came to that realization, because the whole conversation of them, just the whole conversation of beating around the bush and not being serious, and even him's like, he's like, well, you want a relationship to go back to normal, and pushing her in that direction. Like, it just, I hate it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
bad. It's
yeah,
disgusting.
yeah, he's scummy. I mean, you're not supposed to side with this guy, obviously.
I mean, the fact that they're drinking beer and he keeps ordering more beers for her and she's pregnant, and even back then they knew alcohol was not good for pregnancy. It just, the whole thing is just bad.
Yeah, it goes to show how I don't know how rooted he is in his. Like he's ordering them drinks because he wants to go back to normal, and that's a thing they normally do.
And the other thing too is, like, you don't know what situation they're in. Like, you don't know their financial statement. Is he the sole provider for her? Is he a like, you don't know. Like, he could be anything. He could be a politician, he could be a wealthy businessman, he could just be, I guess,
I
theoretically
mean,
an average Joe.
based off of the time of writing, 1927, and the setting of location, which I believe is like Madrid, like a city in Spain, and he's
Mm-hmm.
referenced as
Yep.
the American, you can guess he's pretty well off. You can guess she probably doesn't work. Women's rights aren't that strong in America at that time. So you can guess that, yeah, it's kind of a financial threat. In the same way, it's well, I just want things to go back to normal. It's like, well, if they don't, then good luck. You're out on the street with a baby,
Yeah, and it's
and
bad.
and that's ruinous back then.
Ruinous today. Any
Well, we
time
have more
frame.
social programs today, and like there's more opportunities for women to make money today. It was hard to get a job back then, or like any of this, or like a baby. So it's like,
You can argue that it's easier, but even still, I would argue that to
oh,
be in that situation is not
oh no, it's
great. It's not
absolutely
great for your mental health. It's not great for any kind of life outside of just trying to take care of you and the baby. Like, it's a bad situation, I would argue, in any time frame. Maybe worse back
no,
then.
yeah. I'm not saying it's all hunky dory these days. I'm just like it's almost a complete death back then. I mean, it's a social death, so you can't get help, and it's a financial death, so you can't help yourself. You just got to learn to scavenge, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's terrible.
and she's stuck in this very, very hard decision, and it just, I feel for her. I feel for her. I really do. And it pains me, when it actually angers me to a lot of degrees, when I really understood and re-listened to the book after I understood what was going on.
And I kind of want to do more Hemingway stuff, just because Feels Like White Elephant was such a nice read.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and you guys should go and watch that video now because it's still only at 4 views.
Well, I assume if they're listening to this, it's after after our millions of subscribers have listened to Hills Like Relevance.
After we're bigger than Mr. Beast.
Yeah, Relaxation Book Club burger coming to a McDonald's near you.
Oh, we can dream. We can dream. Yeah. So, do you have any other thoughts or want to talk about the author at all? Or
No, we can talk about Hemingway more a different time. He lived a storied life, I would say.
yeah, yeah, I would say that his story is definitely just the way he wrote is very unique. I don't know if unique it might be the right word, but all right. Well, we're just going to go ahead and wrap this up, and we'll see you guys next week.